The first rule of success is to have a vision. If you don't know where you are going, if you don't have a clear goal in mind, you will simply drift through life and never truly end up anywhere. I was born in 1947 in Austria, just after the Second World War. Growing up, I never really felt that I belonged there. I couldn't wait to get out. I couldn't imagine myself becoming a farmer or working in a factory for the rest of my life. My parents wanted me to stay and live a normal, safe life, but that was their vision, not mine. My vision was completely different. Deep inside, I felt that I was born for something special, something unique, something big. One day at school, when I was about 11 years old, we watched a documentary about America. They showed huge skyscrapers, massive bridges, and wide 6-lane freeways. As I watched, I said to myself, that's where I want to be. I didn't want to stay surrounded by small farmhouses and tiny buildings. I wanted to be in America. Not long after that, I was walking past a store in Graz after school. I went inside and saw a bodybuilding magazine. On the cover was Reg Park, who was a 3-time Mr. Universe and had played Hercules on the big screen. When I saw that magazine, everything clicked. I said to myself, this is the blueprint for my life. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a bodybuilding champion like him, get into movies like him, and make millions of dollars to be rich and famous. Just like him. You can't imagine how powerful that feeling was, knowing exactly where I was going. I knew I was going to become a bodybuilding champion. From that moment on, the only question was how to do it. When you have a clear goal and a strong vision, everything suddenly becomes easier. People used to ask me during my pumping iron days why I trained so hard 5 or 6 hours a day and yet always had a smile on my face. I told them it was because I was shooting for gold. In front of me was the Mr. Universe title. Every rep, every set, every weight I lifted brought me one step closer to turning my vision into reality. That's why I couldn't wait to do another heavy squat, another bench press, or thousands more sit-ups. Each workout was progress toward my dream. At the age of 20, I went to London and won the Mr. Universe contest as the youngest winner ever. That didn't happen by accident, it happened because I had a goal. Visualizing your goal and chasing it makes the journey exciting. No matter what you do in life, you must have a purpose. The sad truth is that most people don't enjoy what they do. In America and in Europe, the majority of people dislike their jobs because they never followed a clear goal. They drift through life, take a job just because they have to work, and then work becomes a burden instead of a joy. Only a small percentage of people truly enjoy what they do, and that's shocking when you think about it. I felt incredibly blessed because I always knew where I was going, just like a medical student who knows he wants to become a doctor. The same principle applied when I went into politics. I had a very clear vision. I knew I couldn't run for president because I wasn't born in the United States, so my ultimate goal was to become the governor of California. People told me to aim lower and said I would never make it, but I didn't listen. I ran for governor and won because I had a clear vision of what I wanted to do for California. So rule number 1 is to have a vision. Rule number 2 is to never listen to the naysayers. Everything I ever did, people told me was impossible. They said it couldn't be done. But whenever they said no, I heard yes. When they said, it's impossible, I heard, it is possible. I strongly believe in what Nelson Mandela said, that everything seems impossible until someone does it. I decided I would be that person. When I moved into acting, I worked just as hard as I did in bodybuilding. I studied English, worked on my accent, took acting classes, and trained all day, every day. My first movie didn't succeed, but I wasn't discouraged because my vision never changed. Step by step, opportunity followed opportunity, until I was cast in major films. The very things people criticized, my body and my accent, eventually became my greatest assets. I never listen to the doubters. That is one of the most important lessons I can share. When someone tells you your idea is stupid or impossible, you don't need to argue. Just smile to yourself and think, what do you know? Stay focused on your vision, work hard, and keep moving forward.